Shalom. So some of you asked me for a sum of what we achieved so far in Bethsaida, proving that is Bethsaida. So this is supposed to be the shore of the lake, but in this year of drought, 2025, the lake is way down. But this was a shore, till last year. And the site is right on the shore. You can see all the construction, all the stone this is some of what we took out from the excavation. And the thing is, we wanted to prove that this is Bethsaida, or want to suggest that this is Bethsaida. And how is that? If we have, of course, a first century Jewish village, fisherman village. Secondly, if we have a Roman city or some elements of a building of a Roman city. And thirdly, an earlier Christian tradition which would support this tradition that this is actually the home of Peter, Andrew, and Philip. As some travelers, pilgrims from the Middle Ages say, Bethsaida there's a church in the home of Peter, Andrew, Philip, the apostles. So far we have excavated a few areas. The first thing is to prove that we have Roman stuff. So this is area F, and you see the later walls here, but where the guys are working now, down there, all these are Roman walls. There are a few stages of Roman architecture here, and this is some of it, and it comes with a lot of very nice finds. So this is area F, and so we have the Roman village, and also we have some stray finds of a Roman bathhouse. A Roman bathhouse which was found in those levels deep, 2 or 3 meters below the surface, is indicating city features of a Roman city rather than a Jewish village. I should mention in those Roman layers down there, we also find lots and lots and lots of fishing weights, obviously, and it totally fits the fisherman's village. And about the Christian tradition, it took us 4 years to get to this, which is a basilica. You can see the row of columns, and the basilica is a church, a typical church of the 5th, 6th century, and this whole thing is covered with mosaics, not totally preserved, but still. And the main feature is a sanctification of this church, for whom was it built. So it usually is right beneath the altar. This is a bema of the church, and we opened beneath the bema of the church. This were exactly where the altar was, and we have these Roman walls here, and even lower over there, and this is right beneath the altar. So this is what the church is all about, the buildings which were beneath it. Now, the pilgrims that visited and prayed in the church didn't see those walls, but they knew that these are the sanctified items. Why would you have walls sanctified? Because this is what apparently they assumed is the house of Peter, right here. And so this is major because we've got Roman architecture related to the sanctified church a few centuries later. Of course, when you're talking about the pilgrims need accommodations, so there are lots of rooms around it, and also a bathhouse. So this is the bathhouse that served the pilgrims You can see this is a hot room, and there's a pool over there. So there is also accommodation to host the pilgrims. And this is, we're talking between 5th to at least early 8th century, where pilgrims are coming here, visiting, adoring the apostles that came from here. The other thing is, we want to prove that it was, if we go back to the Roman period, it was a big enough village, not just, a farm or something like that. So we extended some of our excavations area out further down. So I'm walking now to the east of the village, then I'll take you to the other areas, and there we see some other remains. So we're coming into area E, which we thought would be only a Roman village, but surprisingly enough, the monastery of the Christian 5th, 6th, 7th century extended all the way down here, which would make a pretty big monastery complex, which was used to host all the pilgrims. I mean, look at the surface, doesn't look much, but if you put a few days of work and a lot of sweat, you'll get to the walls, to the architecture. So this is the Byzantine walls, but just beneath down there, peeking more walls, which are the Roman walls of the village. So again, we've got the Roman village, and above it, the monastery was built. I should mention, how is it possible that, like, what happened to the village? Was it disappeared? Has it disappeared? So yes, around late 3rd century, the village was abandoned. We see it here. We see it in a few other settlements, Jewish village around. Not all of them, a few. And this could be either social, economical thing, or even a local happening here. Maybe an earthquake, a flood from the Jordan River coming up from the Upper Galilee there, and pushing down a lot of silt and covering the Jewish village. So the Jewish village was abandoned, which later enabled the Christians to come and build their monastery upon it. Now I'll take a short break and take you to the other areas.
It's about 1,000, something like that.
So this is area G, which we just opened. Don't interrupt yourself. You keep on your important doings. They're actually doing the hard work. I'm just talking. They're excavating. And this is area G. We just started off this season, and you see already some architecture coming, and you can see also the beautiful Dremia flowers, those white columns, which are typical for the autumn in Israel. And just behind me, that pile of stone is in the back is area C, which is also all Roman architecture. It's now covered, you can't see much of it. While we're walking down to area D, I should mention the fire that burned down the whole national park here, and which it took most of our equipment, but still it enabled us to see. Here you see all those stones. These are all remains of the village, of walls. So beneath me there's still lots and lots and lots and lots of houses still waiting to be dug. I mean, we're not going to dig it all, but we would like to get more and more out of it, as long as time and money will allow us. And now we can sketch the perimeter of the village also by the different areas of excavation. And by the stones on the survey of the surface. And I should mention as we go that one thing that I'm less talking about is that after the monastery was abandoned, maybe in the around 8th, 9th, 10th century CE, a few centuries later, maybe 100, 200 years later, in the Crusader period, people used the ruins and what remains of the walls to put a sugar factory out of it. It's very hot here, and a lot of water, abundant water that enables to grow the canes. You can see these are simple canes, but you can also grow here sugar canes, and then you crush it, boil it, and takes the sugar out of it. And in the Crusader period was sent down to Acre and then to Venice and Europe. And this concentrated only in the church itself, or maybe around it, but here this is area D. On the west other side, if area E was the east side, area D is the west side. And we've been digging here since 2022, and you can see the very, very impressive Roman architecture. Guys are now in breakfast, so we have it to ourselves. And this is Roman architecture that goes from 3rd to 2nd to 1st century CE and 1st century BCE, sorry. So we have the whole sequence that proves the Jewish village is here, and it's on the shore, and it's a very nice candidate for the house of Peter. We also can show that this was Jewish. How? Because we've got stone vessels and oil lamps from Jerusalem, which are typically 1st century Jewish stuff. So we know the village was Jewish. Now what we're aiming at in area D this season is going down all the way down there. That's 15 feet, 3 meters down. And this is where we're looking for the Hasmonean period, 2nd century BC or early 1st century BC. It's way down there. We've got a glimpse of it in earlier seasons, and now we're gonna expand it around here and hopefully get more of the Hasmonean period. So to sum up, in the Hasmonean period, the village is built maybe even earlier. We have to see lower than that. And in the 1st century, it thrives. Jesus and the apostles are here. And around the 3rd century, it is abandoned. In the late 4th, early 5th century, it was rebuilt as a monastery with a church dedicated to St. Peter. I forgot to mention, of course, you probably know the dedication inscription, which mentions the keeper of the keys, obviously St. Peter, and this functions to the 8th, 9th century, something like that. Abandoned. Into it was built the sugar factory of the Crusader pottery. So this is a very, very short introduction to what we have found in the 9 excavation seasons that we are here at Bethsaida from 2016 till 2025. If you want to know more, if you have specific questions, let me know, and of course follow for more stuff, and look back in Facebook, in YouTube, Instagram, that for the updates that we post all the time. In the meantime, see you.